All right, today is August 10th, 2023. Good morning, traders. My SPY pivot remains at 447.30. All four indices and the FNGU remain in 2-hour downtrends. FNGU daily chart has a head and shoulders pattern. The US dollar remains bullish. Gold and silver have broken their uptrends. Natural gas and crude oil remain bullish on the daily chart. CPI coming out today at 8:30, so expect even more volatility than we had in the last 7 days if we didn't have enough already. And let's go take a look at the SPY. Okay, the green box up here. This is an hourly chart of the SPY. This green box is an existing open gap. This green box below is an existing open gap. So this is a squeeze right here. Price is consolidating back and forth, ping-ponging back and forth. It could go up, it could go down. I suspect it will go down, but I cannot guarantee it will go down. Typically, a move like this generates a move to the downside. We'll see what happens here. CPI is going to come out at 8:30 this morning. So this is the move right now. You can see it ping-ponging back and forth rapidly. Good morning, Julie. So we'll see what happens. Looking for that 10-minute trend below 447.30. If we get that 10-minute trend below 447.30 and below the midpoint of this line right here, which is 446.96, actually 447. Just call it 447, just to shave off pennies there. So below 447, 10-minute downtrend. Look for targets down to 442, down to 440, and all the way down to 338.40, and maybe even spike that a little bit lower. So those could be our targets today or tomorrow if we start to break down underneath $47. So think about putting on some possible 0 DTE, 442 puts, 443 puts, 444 puts. We could get a very big move today. We'll see what happens. Okay, this is the SPY. SPY is in a 2-hour downtrend, as you can see there. Now let's go over to the QQQ. Here's the QQQ, also in a 2-hour downtrend, doing the same type of price action. And we'll see whether they're going to go up or down. But they are putting that in right now. So 2-hour downtrend in the Q. If we look at the daily, on the daily chart, both the Qs and the SPY underneath the 17 EMA trend indicator. 3 is underneath the T line, and the price action has been below the 3 EMA moving average. So there's the QQQ putting in a lower high and a lower low from this point right here. Now let's go to the IWM. IWM puts in a lower high but a higher low, but the price action still remains below the 17-day trend indicator. T line is now falling below the 17. The 3 is below the T line, and we are moving in a downward. We're moving down right now. It's also in a 2-hour downtrend. If we look at this, we have lower highs and lower lows. That's the IWM. Now let's look at the diamonds. Here's the diamonds putting in a consolidation here. Also lower highs and lower lows on the diamonds with a 2-hour downtrend in the diamonds. If we look at them on the daily chart, we have a lower high and a slightly lower low, but yet they have not broken their 17-day trend indicator right there. So there's our 17 EMA trend indicator. Still green on the diamonds. Everything else still remains, for the most part, diamonds are still bullish. Here's our trend line. I would expect it to cool off and move over to trend. Hopefully remain bullish over this midpoint area right here. So we'll see what happens with the diamonds. Now let's look at the FNGU. FNGU on the daily chart, as you can see, we've got a head, a left shoulder, and now forming a right shoulder. We'll see we have a neckline break, which is right about here. So we have a neckline break, and the head and shoulders pattern is in effect for FNGU on the daily chart. Good morning, Muthu. And we're looking for targets down around 150 for FNGU, 165 and 150. So there we are with FNGU. Now let's take a look at our US dollar. So US dollar's been moving up, and as I guess in our overnight session, we are going to hold on to this downtrend here. So US dollar got weak yesterday, but in the pre-market you can see we're already back up, challenging this downtrend on the US dollar. Let's look at gold. Gold, this was the uptrend. You can see the uptrend is now broken, and we're below the midpoint of the quad lines for gold. Silver. As you can see here, here's silver. We've broken this uptrend, and we're below the midpoint for the quad lines on silver. Now, natural gas, that's a different thing. Natural gas continues to be bullish, gapping up to this $8 mark almost up here. And UNG starting a nice uptrend here. Like to see it break out of this channel we have right here. If we string the tops of those together, I'd like to see this break out of this trend right here. So we have an uptrend in UNG, and we also have an uptrend in USO. I'd like to see this cool off. This one's a little bit hotter than normal. Never seen it rise that fast. Well, this is pretty much the same thing, but that's really nice right there. Stringing together a bunch of days, a group of days in a really bullish daily uptrend there for the USO. Now let's look at our semiconductors. Here's SMH. SMH putting in the M pattern and looking like a possible breakdown down to this area right here. We'll see what happens. We have an M pattern right here. Let me draw that in for you. So it goes up. Well, let's trash that. We go up here, down, up, down, and then this box over here. There's your battleground, and we're looking for a breakdown to this area right here, SMH. All right, let's look at the IYT. Let's see what the transports are doing. Transports putting in a lower high and a lower low, moving back, breaking their daily uptrend here. We still have a trend line that exists out here, so they're kind of cooling off. Look for this to bull flag, probably underneath this 261 area. Here's the midpoint, well above the midpoint. Just got a daily pullback right now. 2-hour downtrend. Nice 2-hour downtrend, but notice this 2-hour downtrend is kind of hugging that EMA right there. That's signs that it wants to break out to the upside. So look for this to find some support eventually. Probably right around 253. We'll see what happens. IYT. And let's take a look at the XLF. So here's our transports. There we go. 2-hour downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. And if we look at it on the daily chart, yesterday's candle produced a higher low and a higher high. Ugly red candle, but still producing a higher low and a higher high. Good sign for the XLF. So today we have CPI coming out at 8:30. And let's get that open. $8.30, we got jobless claims at 8:30 and CPI at 8:30. And then tomorrow, 8:30, we have PPI. And for Max Payne for tomorrow, it's going to kick in here. Max Payne for tomorrow is 450. And the put to call ratio is almost 2-to-1. Puts the call on Max Payne for tomorrow's volatility on options expiration Friday. And that's it, traders. Just be careful today. Expect a lot of volatility. We could break out to the upside. We could break down to the downside. My pivot's 447.30. Keep an eye on that number if you're above it or below it to decide which direction you want to head off into. And that's it. I'll take questions. I'm going to stop the recorder.